Americans jumping straight onto RedNote, which is a Chinese-owned app, is probably the funniest thing I've seen in the entire history of my life. If you haven't heard of RedNote yet, it is the #1 most downloaded app in the US as Americans make this mass exodus off of TikTok into RedNote, which is what a lot of people are calling the Chinese version of TikTok. It's a lifestyle app in China for people to talk about fashion and food, all different kind of interests. If you're just now getting on there or you haven't heard of it, here's what it is and here's some rules you need to be aware of. And I want to clarify that this is not an extensive coverage of RedNote. It's more the stuff I've encountered in the past 24 hours that I've been allowed on the app. #1, there's a whole separate culture there in the same way Instagram and TikTok and YouTube all have different vibes. RedNote is completely different. There's been a few creators who have explicitly said that's not what it's called. The real name is this.
App you're using right now, we don't call it RedNote, not Redbook, not Chinese TikTok. It's called Xiaohongshu.
On RedNote, there's something called a cat tax, and this basically looks like posting pictures of your cat, putting them in people's comment section. Which is something else really cool about RedNote is that in the comment section you can actually post photos. If you don't have a cat, you can post a dog. #2, if you're jumping off of TikTok into RedNote, you're called a TikTok refugee.
Dear TikTok refugees, welcome to Xiaohongshu.
Hi, TikTok refugees.
#3, there's tons of food. People love food on that app. #4, the fashion is so good.
Sleeping in, taking vitamins, oh.
The emojis are different. Something else really cool about RedNote is that the Chinese people are so happy to see Americans there. There's already so many discussions of people swapping languages, teaching each other about the different cultures. And something I hope doesn't happen is that we don't overwhelm the people who are already there because we are stepping into their kitchen. So I've only been on there for a day so far and I can't obviously speak to the entire depth of the app, but from what I've seen so far, it's just wildly cool and the people are so friendly.
You're here, you finally get to know the truth about the Chinese culture, about the country, about the people, everything about us. And of course, vice versa. Our culture is extremely welcoming, friendly, warm, as you have probably noticed.
As you can see, there's a whole bunch of creators accepting Americans very willingly. The really cool thing is that the Americans that are joining seem to have collectively agreed to participate by RedNote rules. People are recommending that you subtitle do things in English and Mandarin so that everyone can read it, which I really love to see because like this whole sense of camaraderie, like, oh, the government wants to take something away from us. When has it ever worked when you try to take something away from Americans without giving them any opinion on it?
But China's stealing your data. I don't care.
But the key thing here is if you think it's like TikTok, it's not. I know some people are having a hard time getting on RedNote. That verification code can take like 24 hours to get to you just because of the massive influx of people that are getting onto the app. There's a lot of people on the app who never had followers before, but they're suddenly getting really popular because of the mass influx of American users who want to hear what they have to say.
You guys are crazy! When I wake up this morning, I'm on American news.
So just like TikTok, there's multiple different niches to jump down. There's fashion, there's food, there's languages, there's politics, there's everything you can imagine. Something else I really enjoy about RedNote is that the level of attention that goes into detail with creators is so high. And this is something I saw a few creators speak on. They're very proud of what they produce.
I can't find your silver lining. I don't mean to judge.
Overall, the tone on RedNote is very welcoming, very friendly, and very laid back. I do need to spend a little more time on the app to get more familiarized with it, but I at least wanted to show you guys what I have found so far. The fact that Duolingo has already made their way onto the app is hilarious.
这绝对是有史以来最令戈登感到头疼的厨师，他仅凭一己之力就险些毁掉了整个厨房。在出
I do want to note that not everybody is happy with this change. A lot of users on RedNote are not excited about the changes that have been happening on their platform, and rightly so. We're coming in by storm, but overwhelmingly the content that I have come across has been very welcoming of the TikTok refugees. And the last time I checked, it was like 700,000 new users in a day. But I'm absolutely going to spend at least a few weeks familiarizing myself with the way the platform operates, etiquette, rules. I would love to know what you guys think, and if you're already on RedNote. Overall, I think this is going to be a pretty interesting ride.